but let's turn our attention to Philippe Coutinho. He's completed that loan move to Aston Villa from Barcelona for the rest of the season. The agreement, which is subject to the player completing a medical and receiving a work permit, also includes an option to buy, and Coutinho will travel to Birmingham in the next 48 hours. Well, Coutinho played with current Aston Villa boss Steven Gerrard at Liverpool before he left to join Barcelona in January 2018. He's won 2 La Liga titles, but has struggled for game time recently, and also spent the 2019-20 season on loan at Bayern Munich, and we'll chat about the impact he could have a little later on. OK, let's bring in more details on this Philippe Coutinho move to Aston Villa. And what we're hearing is that there is an option to buy Coutinho inserted into this loan deal. What we also understand is that Barcelona were keen for that to be an obligation rather than an option, but it's now an option. Barcelona, we also understand, will continue to pay a proportion of Coutinho's wages during that loan spell. And the friendship between Coutinho and Gerrard was key to his choice. So those are the things we're hearing about that deal at this moment. Jose, let's come to you, because you played with him, you shared a dressing room with him. Give us the inside track. What's he like, and what's he like to play with?
Well, as he actually said yesterday in an interview as well, in the press conference I think it was, someone don't get the name of a magician for no reason, you know. Inside the dressing room, what I can tell you is a very, very relaxed guy, very family guy, very nice guy. We used to meet a lot, you know, him, Lucas Leiva, myself, the Brazilians, Spanish, we used to meet a lot together, out of the field. So the only thing I can talk is highly words of him off the field. And on the field, it's been, since he left Liverpool, obviously he's not been the same player as he was at Liverpool, for whatever is the reason. It's been position-wise, it's been maybe mental block from his side as well. And I think it's a good move, massive move for Aston Villa, bringing someone like Coutinho of his name and quality, with no option to buy him permanently. So they have the option, but if they don't want to, they don't have to. I think it's a massive, massive move for Aston Villa, and a great opportunity for Coutinho to show himself again.
He arrived in January 2013. Can you remember the first day he turned up?
To be honest, I remember him arriving, very quiet boy, you know, very, very, like I said, obviously when you have confidence with him, he's still quiet, you know. Coutinho is a quiet guy, but obviously the first day he arrived from Inter de Milan, I remember like it was yesterday, €1 million, you know, everyone was like, oh, who is this guy, you know. But since the first training, you could see he has something special, because this kind of players you can see as soon as they receive the ball. And obviously since then, it was history, you know, in Liverpool, what he's done, you know. The decision that we nearly won the league, he was very, very important for the team as well. So that's why Barcelona came and spent so much money on him.
Yeah, he did play a huge part in that 2013-14 season that so nearly delivered the title. How special a player did he become?
Well, he was, like I said, he was the magician of the team, you know. He could make something impossible possible, you know. He was coming from the left side normally. He liked to play, sometimes he's a player that he needs to have the ball to show his ability, and he was key, you know. Obviously, we can talk about the Sturridge and Suarez that season, because they were, obviously, Suarez more than anyone, probably the best player in the league, one of the best players in the world in that time. But Coutinho, how he delivers the ball, how he scored amazing goal from outside of the box as well. He was key for that year, really. You know, like you say, nearly we won the league. It's sad to say nearly, you know, but obviously it's the truth, you know. But he was one of the key players for the team to have that chance to nearly win the league.
Yeah, and then he left for Barcelona. What went wrong?
Well, I think it's many things. I think that Lianne knows as well. Mental-wise, I think is a big factor. I think him going back to Spain in Liverpool, he used to the play of Liverpool way. The fans loving him. Different kind of play. You arrive to Barcelona, you are not one of the main players anymore, even if they pay a massive transfer fee for you, because you have Iniesta, you have other kind of players. You have Messi. Well, Messi, the main one, really. That's the one you have. So obviously it was very, very difficult for him to arrive there And obviously, don't get me wrong, obviously Messi is Messi, but in Liverpool, maybe he did this kind of job, like having that play on the left side, but coming on the number 10, have the ball on the time, and that role is Messi, and obviously Messi is Messi, and he gonna have that. And maybe he didn't have the protagonism that he wanted in Barcelona, and maybe mental-wise, like I said, for me, mental-wise, player is key, and he is not adapted to Barcelona's way. That's the reality. I think it's nothing has to do with the club, nothing has to do with the city, because it's an amazing place to live. I think it has to do more with him, that he's not adapted to the way Barcelona play, and that's why he's not become the signing that they expected to be, and I actually expected him to be as well, to be honest.
Yeah, we're hearing more details all the time, Lianne. We're hearing that it's less than 50% of his Barcelona wages Villa will be paying him, plus bonuses on it. That idea that Barcelona wanted an obligation and Aston Villa have only got an option, does that tell you that there's still, room for Coutinho to prove not only to himself but to Steven Gerrard and to Villa and to the Premier League that he's back where he was when he was at Liverpool? What do you expect to see? A player in decline or a player with a point to prove?
I think a player with a point to prove. I mean, obviously, people talk about the fact that, he's still only 29. And I think, obviously, he left Liverpool when he was at probably the best point of his career. And I think sometimes with players, when they leave the Premier League, the grass isn't always greener. I think it's one of those things where he's still got a lot to offer. I think it absolutely makes sense for Aston Villa to sign him, especially the fact that it's a loan deal. And I think it's a fantastic signing. And, people can say, he's gone away, hasn't played that many minutes, but he's still been a part of a team by Munich, Barcelona that have got top players. But we all know what Philippe Coutinho can do. And I still think he can do it. And to me, the fact that Steven Gerrard's the manager now of Aston Villa, I'm not quite sure if Dean Smith was a manager of Aston Villa, and that's no disrespect to him, if they would be able to attract a player like Coutinho. But I think it's an opportunity for him to come back to England, and everybody knows what he can do. It's just unfortunate, like Jose said, that he's gone to Barcelona and it just hasn't worked out. Didn't really adapt there, but I do think it's a really, really good signing for Aston Villa. Really, really good.
Let's investigate that Steven Gerrard idea then, because we said at the beginning of this that his friendship with Steven Gerrard was one of the keys, but he will now be his boss, Jose. Or was Steven Gerrard simply always the boss in the dressing room, even though he was your teammate? How did that all work?
Well, Stevie is Stevie. And to be honest with you, I don't know, because I've not been in the deal, so I cannot talk, but I really believe, and I believe Lianne will agree with me, that without Stevie, this would not have happened, 100%. I don't think he would have gone to Aston Villa. Not because Aston Villa is not a great club to go. It's just because I think Stevie and Coutinho, they know what obviously it's going to be different because Stevie is going to be the manager. But to be honest, sometimes he actually have the manager role on the team as well. Sometimes in the dressing room, he will talk actually as he was the manager. So I don't think it's going to be much different. And it's a good move for Coutinho, don't get me wrong. But I think the most benefit people here is Aston Villa. To bring a player like Coutinho with his quality, it's all down to having someone like Stevie as a manager, So it's massive for Aston Villa, and the only thing he can do, Aston Villa, is benefit from it. And if it doesn't work out, he's alone it's not a compulsory option to buy him. So it's a massive deal for Aston Villa, and I think Coutinho is going to go there, like Lianne said as well, with a point to prove, because if he doesn't go well at Aston Villa now, his career is just going to go down. And if he goes to Aston Villa and does well, next year it can be Aston Villa who buy him, or even a better team in the Premier League who buy him as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting point. And me as a friend, I want him to do very, very well for Stevie and Aston Villa, because he will be the best for his future as well.
Yeah, we have seen in the past, Lianne, that especially when players get promoted from a dressing room to become manager of that team, that the transition has not always been easy, going from teammate to their boss, if you see what I mean. But with Steven Gerrard, I don't get that impression that there would be a problem there, do you?
No, definitely not. And I think the fact that, Coutinho's gone away, hasn't had the best time when it comes to playing wise. Yes, he's won things, but playing wise, every player wants to play. Maybe this move also makes sense based upon the fact that he can trust, Steven Gerrard. He'll put his arm around him. He'll get the best out of him. He will be the key player at Aston Villa, almost filling in that, you're going to laugh now, Rob, when I mention Jack Grealish, but almost filling in that gap that Jack Grealish left at Aston Villa. And they've also got McGinn. There's a lot of top players at Aston Villa, and I can see Aston Villa really having a real direction of where they're going and where they're pushing and where they're trying to be. But I think the fact that Steven Gerrard is the manager, it's the perfect match for me. It really is. And as Jose said, there's going to probably be, I can see Coutinho doing really well at Aston Villa. Might come back to bite me. My words might come back to bite me, but I think he's going to do really well. And I think it's going to turn out to be a really good deal for them, because I think other teams will see just how good he really is. And then other teams would actually want to buy him, but Aston Villa already have that option. So that's the type of signing you need to take you to that next level that I think Aston Villa can get to.
And you did really well, Lianne, because you went 41 minutes today, which I think is a record for you, without mentioning Jack Grealish.
I know you're going to make fun of me.
Yeah, so well done. Jose, where does he fit into this side? He predominantly plays as a left winger, attacking midfielder. Villa lined up with that 4-3-3 against Brentford, and Emi Buendia. Perhaps you were thinking he was a big money signing, but it was playing in that position maybe where Coutinho would fit in best, or how do you see it differently?
I think, obviously I didn't mention Jack Grealish before, so I'm going to mention him now. I think Lianne just put the best example. I think he's going to do that job. Obviously, if Coutinho can come back to his best, I believe he's going to bring even more, because Coutinho, obviously I didn't play with Jack Grealish, but I played with Coutinho, and if he can come back to his best, because he's still 29, I believe he's going to bring massive difference to the team. But can play on the left, can play a little bit more, even as a midfield. Sometimes you can play as a number 8, because it's more number 8, number 10, if you leave him the freedom to don't defend as much as others maybe. So he can play maybe 2 positions in the team, but obviously Stevie is going to work it out. And I'm sure he's going to make the team a little bit around Coutinho if he comes back to his best, because he can actually manage the team, really. He's a kind of player that you give him the ball, and if he's in form, at least how he was in Liverpool, it's very difficult to take the ball from him. He's in passes that only him sees, So I think, like I said, he can play in them 2 positions and can bring something, another level, Aston Villa to another level. And as well, I think for worldwide, just not for Coutinho as well, for the club, it's massive to sign someone like Coutinho for Aston Villa. If he does well, he's going to actually bring even better players to the club for the future as well.